Look what you did to my bro, Rufus. Look at him. This dog is so sad he can't even look at the camera right now. He's got his back to us. Ladies and gentlemen, that Xbox Power Off documentary, whenever it hits in the 2030s, is going to be immaculate, because I am so curious how a brand can make these decisions and the rationale behind them. Look, it's at this point I'm convinced there's a sleeper agent from PlayStation and Nintendo in the Microsoft building. I'm sitting here like the Dexter cop. Certainly, there's no way a company that wants to compete in the video game market is making all of these decisions in a single calendar year, especially with today's economy. Hell, I could be balling out right now and I'd still be like, are you out of your mind? This is insane, but I guess none of this should surprise me. We're just days removed from Xbox jumping the price of their hardware. We're just months removed from Xbox trying to jump their game prices to $80 for this holiday season. They've been trying to nickel and dime us all year long. It really shouldn't be surprising that Game Pass is the next to fall. And it's not just a little bump like the first time around where we went, okay, look, service still slaps and it's still worth the price of admission. We're now at $30 a month for what was once $15 a month. And we know subscription prices go up. A lot of us expected this, but with the way Xbox is continuously just jack things up, the free ride is over and it's looking really bad. Because to me, what Xbox has done today is put the final nail in the coffin on both their competitive advantages on the market as well as their overall appeal. A lot of people in the face of everything happening with Xbox have always argued, yeah, but Game Pass. How about now? And if you include the frequent name changes, the price changes, the back and forth, the terrible messaging, Xbox looks like the most erratic, indecisive company on the market, where even if these decisions did make sense, you could not trust the next move they're going to make because something's likely to change. There's no stability here, and it's impossible to get invested as a fan or as a consumer in this platform. I got a lot of thoughts, of course. We're going to talk all about these Game Pass changes, but before we begin, a quick word from today's sponsor. I've been in the market for a new laptop. Lenovo hooked me up. Let me tell you about this absolute beast of a machine. It comes packed with a 16-inch OLED screen, a GeForce RTX 5070, 1 terabyte of SSD storage, 32 gigabytes of RAM, and last but certainly not least, an Intel Core Ultra 9 processor at 2.1 gigahertz per core. Now, yeah, that all sounds good, but let's put this thing through its paces, right? We talked a lot about Borderlands 4, performance issues aplenty. I fired this thing up completely raw, untouched on Borderlands 4, and I was stunned with just how good this thing ran this game. Keep in mind, Borderlands 4, not really optimized the best, so the fact that this is able to just brute force through that was really impressive to me. So then I went back another step to a game I also reviewed in Chronos: The New Dawn. That ran really well here on this machine, and when you combine that with the OLED screen, man, OLED is one of those things that when you're away from it, you forget just how much of a difference maker it is when you come back to it. So yeah, you can see the Intel Core Ultra 9 processor really just helping these games run much more smoothly. And in a day and age where steady performance is tough to come by, I found this laptop instantly reliable. So then I wanted to put it through its utility paces. I want to travel more for work, whether it be for preview events or working while on a trip, whatever it may be. So I tried a little bit of a video editing test on this thing, and the utility for that was great. You know, Sony Vegas makes a lot of my previous gaming laptops crash, did not have any issues here. So that was a real sigh of relief for me. And when I look at the price tag with what you get being the 5070, the OLED screen, a terabyte of SSD, 32 gigs of RAM, and of course the Intel Core Ultra 9 processor, I mean, this is really good value for the power you're getting. So if you're interested in checking this out, picking one up for yourself, I'll have a link in the description down below. Please give this one a look, because that's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. And shout out to Lenovo for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so all this was rolled out through a new set of trailers, and Xbox is trying their best to deliver this as positive news, such as naming their trailers what's new and what's changing with Xbox Game Pass, or Game Pass gives you more. That's been the big one here. Is Xbox trying to tell you that they're giving you more, and that's why they're charging you more? And I'll tell you what they're giving you, but a lot of people have already seen that, and they're rushing to cancel their Game Pass subscriptions. In fact, so much so that Wario64 has shown that people are crashing the Game Pass subscription page, where now people are struggling to unsubscribe en masse. As I talked about on Defining Duke, and I've mentioned a couple times on the channel, I unsubscribed from Game Pass in July. Look, I still like Xbox video games, but do I need to be giving a company as bad as Microsoft my money every single month after they literally gutted my favorite publisher in games? No, I don't. I'm glad to see people have seen this as the backbreaker because frankly, I do think it's unacceptable in today's market. So what did change? This is all available on the Xbox Wire, but let's break it down. First off, the names have changed again. I mean, dude, this all started with the Xbox One. The naming conventions at Xbox have been so bad, but this generation, again, if there's any way to put in a nutshell how indecisive they have been, they've changed the Game Pass tier names multiple times. It's unbelievable, dude. Like, started with the Xbox One, I'm like, okay, y'all don't know how to name things. Then you do Series X and S. I'm like, whatever that means. Okay, cool. And then at least the Xbox Ally was a good name. I'm like, yeah, this actually makes sense. But these tier names, again, they change them. So now you have Ultimate, now you have Premium, now you have Essential instead of Core, and instead of Standard, you have Premium. It's just like, bro, what are you guys doing? I shouldn't be surprised with the company that came up with the whole "this is an Xbox" marketing campaign and then proceeded to try to launch an Xbox handheld that does not support that marketing message of being an Xbox because it's a PC. Like, whoever is running marketing at Xbox needs to go. Their messaging has completely ravaged this entire gaming division. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. It's time to measure sizes, all right? PlayStation, Xbox, line on up. Let's see who's bigger. All right, we've got Game Pass Ultimate. Let's start breaking it down, shall we? $30 a month is the brand new price point. Now, to be a little bit more objective, why is it being jumped up? This is likely a response to them rolling back $80 video games. Okay, you won't pay $80 video games. You're going to pay $30 a month for Game Pass. We can't have this, I put this in quotes, by the way, low Game Pass subscription price model, and on top of that, be charging you $70 a game. It's got to be one or the other. And frankly, it's a huge L either way because Game Pass's advantage on the market was saying, hey, look at how expensive things are. Come subscribe here and you'll save a lot of money. But now, especially if you're a multi-platform gamer and you decide to like buy a game every now and again, I don't think Game Pass justifies its value, right? Because if you subscribe for the year, it's over $300. You're 5 games away from getting there. And I feel like a lot of people are going to look at this price tag, and unless you're playing and beating multiple games a month, which many of us do have time for, I play and beat multiple games a month myself, but I also know many more people who do not have that kind of time. The benefit of Game Pass was exposure, seeing more great games, being able to surf that library, window shop, get in easy, build gaming, grow gaming, increase accessibility. Like, all that was a big part of why the price was so appealing and why I was getting so many people in. We've also seen how Game Pass subscriber growth has plateaued or even possibly dropped off. This really was centered around when they decided to put Call of Duty Day 1 into Game Pass, which I think they're regretting. We'll get into that when we talk about the premium tier. But why are you jacking up the price when subscriptions aren't growing? Well, think of this like whales in a mobile game. Or if I were to pull from a personal example that I observed, I think of this a lot like Fallout 76 at its launch. When Fallout 76 went through its launch, they had the Atom Shop, then they suddenly added Fallout First, they added all these different, a battle pass even, they added all these different things that you could buy. And while many of us here who are not actively engaging with 76 were buying these things, my lord, were the people who were super dedicated to 76 eating all of it up. And honestly, it kept the game afloat until now, where they've had a resurgence and all of these purchasing models are just deeply embedded into the game, and Bethesda's balling out with 76, which none of us expected. But if you are a diehard Xbox fan and you're watching this, and you're probably angry at me even for being like, how could he? Look, I'm just telling you this, Xbox is bleeding you dry. You, the loyal fan, the one who stood by them through all these shitty generations, they are bleeding you dry. They're expecting you to take the fall. They are charging you the most because they know many of us are out. They're counting on you, the whale. That is why I am just suggesting, floating the idea. I will not tell people really what to do because I don't know what their economic situation is and if it makes sense for them or not, but you should probably consider unsubscribing if it makes less sense for you, because this company is taking advantage of your fanship, and that's not how it should work. Worse yet, as I'll start to finally break down the tiers here in added detail, is that Xbox, with these price changes and these value changes, might I add, have made PS Plus fully competitive. And when I say worse yet, I mean for them. I've been a subscriber for PS Plus for a while. Really, I fortified my subscription when they added the Classics catalog, because you know me, I run Retro Rebound. I love playing old games, getting platinum trophies for old games, like a great way to get people like me in. But also, as we'll break down the catalog, PS Plus catalog kind of underrated, but I think those days of being underrated are soon to be over because of this. Basically, what happened was when PS Plus was introduced, and go look at the comments, the initial like to dislike ratio, the conversation online, people were like, PS Plus and the subscription service, it's nothing compared to Game Pass. Xbox had the market advantage. They also had the optical advantage. They had the more appealing subscription service. But as time has gone on and as changes have been made, right, PS Plus got more competitive, and then Xbox made one price hike, which did close the gap a little bit. At this point now, I do think PS Plus in many ways, and it also depends on your preference and other ways, has usurped Xbox Game Pass. I never really thought I'd be saying that, but because of these price changes, I feel like Xbox has defeated themselves. PlayStation did do some work to make it more competitive, but it's not like they were offering day one games. The fact that I'm sitting here telling you PS Plus might be better, even though Game Pass still offers day one games, is, I think, exactly the point in this whole conversation. Is like, that's how bad Xbox has jacked up the prices everywhere. It's expensive to be a customer in their ecosystem, even if this is a luxury hobby. Okay, I've ranted enough. Let's talk about these new perks that they've added in. So the Ultimate tier has seen the biggest changes. It's $30 a month. They're adding in Fortnite Crew, which gives you the battle pass for Fortnite every season and 1,000 V-Bucks. That's usually $12 in value according to Xbox every month. And they're also adding Ubisoft Plus Classic. So this is not Ubisoft Plus Premium, which Ubisoft Plus Premium gives you day one Ubisoft games. This is, as I've seen a lot of people misunderstand this, Ubisoft Plus Classics. This is the same thing that PlayStation Plus has at its highest tier, and it is literally the Ubisoft backlog. So think of it like EA Play, right? It is that similar thing where you're getting a vault of Ubisoft content. I think some people will find that exciting. For me, jacking up the price 50% on my subscription service and telling me that Ubisoft games and a Fortnite subscription are my added bits of value there, miss me with that, I'm good. A lot of this just feels like market research being packed into a subscription update. They're like, hey, right now Fortnite's trending and this is one of the Sinister 6 video games. It's gonna go up a lot in player count every year, so let's invest there and get those people to subscribe. And they of course have targeted other popular games, like on PC. If you subscribe to PC Game Pass, like you'll get all of the Riot game characters and like League of Legends and stuff. And as someone who played a lot of League, like that was useful, but I just also feel there's a bit of a conflict of interest. Like you're trying to get the COD bros in, you're trying to get the Fortnite people in, but you're also trying to get people in because day one games via the Xbox library are here as well. So they're trying to broaden their appeal while jacking up the price and adding this value. And it's just like, again, it's so messy. So yes, the day one games still remain in the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate tier. They've upgraded the streaming quality to 1440p and decreased the wait times. You'll notice this a lot throughout the breakdown of these tiers, is that Xbox indicates the wait times are different per tier. This is something that's not new, but I want to emphasize this nice and early because we're starting to see it be a promoted factor, and they're basically intentionally bottlenecking one of their premium services. So you'll pay more to get better stream times, and it just reminds me of like internet companies. It's really, really weird, especially for them to be removing the beta tag. They've now immediately turned into a business model when it could just be a perk to being part of their ecosystem. Huge L. And perhaps the biggest L is the neutering of Microsoft's reward program. So a lot of people did not know about this, but basically what Xbox was doing at the start of this generation is they had a great separate app called Microsoft Rewards, and as you completed surveys, played games, purchased games, completed your monthly quests, your weekly quests, your daily quests, sometimes just playing a Game Pass game or playing specific Game Pass games, like people made guides on how to farm points. And if you were deeply engaged in the Xbox ecosystem, Microsoft rewarded you. Over time, they have whittled away this program completely to the point where now they have put a cap on it and then attached it to a subscription service. It's a disgrace. And for those who know, they know this is a far cry from where it once was. I'm not expecting a free ride from a company trying to make money, but when you know where this program was and how many points you could rack up and how you could maybe pay for a month of Game Pass versus now it's like, hey, if you're an Ultimate subscriber, you get $100 per year max from our Microsoft Rewards program. It's anti-consumer. It's so bad compared to where it once was, and tying it to a subscription program as well. Not even just like, hey, thanks for engaging in this app and in this ecosystem. Like they even don't do that anymore. It sucks, dude. It sucks. But yeah, $30 a month for Ultimate. Next is the premium tier. It's $14.99 a month, a little more digestible. This is basically where the competition with PS Plus really kicks up because it's the equivalent of PS Plus Extra. So Xbox Game Pass Premium is offering a 200 plus video game library, plus Xbox published games within a year. We'll talk about that in a moment, but let's break down these libraries because this is where I went over to PS Plus and I started looking at my library and I had to add this all up because again, this is where the size comparison kicks in. IGN puts the library at 481 on their website. Push Square puts PS Plus Extra at 655 games, and some math on my end put it at 614. I think that's because PlayStation includes their classics in their PS Plus library, of which is only available at the highest tier. And I believe that explains why IGN's is so low compared to everyone else's. So I hand counted the classic library, and there's currently 160 classics in said library. Now, if you subtract that from any high or low number I just gave you, you get anywhere from a range of 321 video games to 495 within the PS Plus Extra library. And when you look at Xbox's 200 games in their extra library, yeah, for the same price point, PlayStation is offering you a whole lot more, plus the cloud streaming and whatnot. Like, it's not even close. My point being is that any way you slice this, PS Plus has way more games and in turn, way more value. Xbox has made it easier for their competitor to say, hey, we have more for the same price. Come subscribe here. Now, is it possible that one day PlayStation Plus goes up in price and the tune changes? Absolutely. That's usually what happens with subscription services. But right now, as it stands, just like when PlayStation Plus announced their lineup and we had Game Pass as it was, I'm taking it as it is. So if PlayStation Plus goes up, then we'll talk about that. But right now, I think PS Plus Extra looks better than Premium because also, it strips away something very interesting that we debated heavily on Defining Duke last year. Would Xbox do day one Game Pass for Call of Duty? They did it with Black Ops 6, which was a good one. It looked like the one that people were excited about. The new movement system was pretty great. The multiplayer, the throwback campaign, like all of it kind of meshed well to be a good year for Call of Duty to experiment, bring in some new fans. And I think too many people got a free ride because note how it says at the top that Xbox published games will arrive on Premium within a year of the game's launch. Except Call of Duty. Call of Duty won't be doing that, meaning that the wait will at the very least be much longer. So it's not even like you'll get the year over year rollover. Like here's Black Ops 6 a year after it came out. You're not even gonna get that. And I guess I get it because this is something we discussed on Defining Duke so much. We were talking about how like the following year, right? Like if it's 2024 and you get Black Ops 6, in 2025, one of the best selling games of the year is Black Ops 6. Like it never made sense for this game to enter Game Pass in the first place outside of jacking up the subscriber count, which it clearly didn't really work because now they're immediately saying, nope, if you want Game Pass day one, you've got to pay all the way with this new price hike. So yeah, that's one of the big changes here is that Call of Duty is suddenly being kept in high regard and they're targeting between Fortnite and Call of Duty and Riot a broad audience. So I guess we'll see how that plays out with Essential being $30 a month. But it looks like by putting Fortnite stuff and Call of Duty as well as Riot stuff, like all of this is just packed into Ultimate or like the highest imaginable tiers. When you look at that, it's like, okay, you're targeting the kind of more casual gamer. Sure. Okay. But the casual gamers playing like one, maybe two games a year, are they really going to be paying $30 a month? Like it just doesn't work itself out at all. Anyway, with Game Pass Premium, you can now stream your games and you get $50 per year in rewards. Then you go to the lowest tier, which is Essential. Core subscribers are upgraded to this one automatically. It's still $10 a month, so not much to be said here. You're still paying for online multiplayer on both PS Plus and Xbox Game Pass Essentials. So yeah, like really nasty work there. Just like how PS Plus has their built-in small catalog of games, Xbox Game Pass doing a similar thing here with a 50+ game catalog, just some of those core titles. Cloud gaming is here, but of course, longest wait times, but hey, it exists at least, and $25 in rewards per year. PC Game Pass, sorry, y'all didn't get to dodge the bullet this time like you did last time, where it remained at a lower price point. You've been jacked up to $16.49 per month as well. And those, ladies and gentlemen, are all the changes coming to Xbox Game Pass. And yeah, I'm extremely disappointed. I think the perfect way to end this is just to talk about those trailers that announced all of this in the first place. Trying to position this as a positive, but also, sorry, gotta say it, gotta call a spade, the cowardly leadership again. We learned about this when it came to Xbox canceling a lot of these Bethesda games a couple of months ago. In particular, Xbox leadership like Phil Spencer and Matt Booty showed up to ZeniMax, was giving them all the love in the world, provide them new resources like, hey, this game looks great, I can't put the controller down, and then cancel their game shortly thereafter. Now, I see these Game Pass changes coming as part of your ecosystem, and who was in the trailer but some, no offense to the lady, but some random woman that no one knows from Xbox, like a spokesperson who no doubt is going to be harassed endlessly over this. It's that clear self-preservation that's starting to kick in. All three of these individuals have basically gone offline since the studio shutdowns in July. They've completely gone to hiding. Before that, they were sheltering themselves more and more because it's a shit show, dude. And I think it's spineless. I think it's cowardly that when things get tough for your brand, you can't be out there to be delivering the hard news like you did at the top of last year where you were doing some business changes. It's weak. It's really, really weak. And I see right through it and for what it is. And I just, again, cannot respect that type of leadership, man. You can't just be there for the good times, the times where you're on Hideo Kojima's stage and you're like, new IP is, an original IP is important to this industry because this backs up what would look good for optics. Meanwhile, I'm going to shut down original IP from a bunch of studios that I've owned for a few years. Like, you know, just, it's cowardly. That's all it is, man. So I kind of viewed that as just the salt in the wound. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all I've got to say on Xbox and these price changes. Yeah, really bad news. I think for me, I'm a little less emotional about it because I've been unsubscribed for a couple of months now. But Xbox made it a lot easier for a lot of you folks to make your decision in the future. I mean, that's the other concluding point is, I said this with the Xbox console price hikes. I'm like, I guess they're punting into next generation, but like, are people going to want to invest in Xbox now? I think a lot of people are more motivated now than ever to abandon their libraries and jump ship and just be like, okay, I'm going to start the rebuild now, right? Like I view it like sports. Like, okay, one of these seasons, you just got to rip the Band-Aid off and be like, we're doing a fire sale and we're rebuilding. And I think Xbox has motivated a lot of people to just go rebuild. Wait for the next Steam sale, buy a bunch of their old games for really cheap prices and just go all in. I really think they've made it that easy. We'll see. We never get numbers from Xbox, so only optics and general vibes around the community will tell. But I'm looking forward to seeing what your vibe is down below. Other than that, take excellent care of yourselves, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.